Hello everyone, my name is Wang Jinping, and now I'm going to explain you the code first, and then I'll show you how the program works. The first one is we include all this. This one is to define all the variables that we will use, and this one tells the computer that we're defining a function called this delay underscore x1ms. This takes an input value cnt, which represents the number of milliseconds we want to delay. This one is the outer loop. It starts from 0 to the value of cnt, and this one is the inner loop. It starts from 0 until 110. We can use this function whenever we want our program to pause or wait for a certain amount of time. And then this one is the LED patterns. This one is the push button 1, and this one is the push button 2. So this one is the main function. This one initializes a counter variable I to 0. This one declares a variable the sw underscore dat for storing switch data. And this one declares a flag. This flag, for interrupt handling. This one will enable the interrupts. So from this, we start an endless loop, infinite loop. So when the push button 4 is pressed, the push button 1 and the push button 2 will reset it. It's like it will become an initial state. And then this line checks if either the push button 1 or push button 2 is true or not. So if either one of this is true, this one will become true too. So this one is for the LED display by showing a specific pattern stored in the LED tab. So the symbol inverts the pattern, meaning it turns on the LED that were off and turns off the LED that were on. So this one, if we press the push button 3, it will calculate the delay time based on the switch value and waits for that amount of time. In a simple way, this part of the code checks if any interrupt flags are set. If so, it will update the LED display pattern, and if push button 3 is pressed, it will introduce a delay based on the switch value. This will create an interactive LED display behavior that responds to the button press. And then this one will execute when push button 3 is not pressed. So this one, it will introduce a delay of 300 milliseconds. And this one, this condition checks if the counter cnt exceeds the switch value, the sw. If it does, it will reset the counter to 0. And it will clear all the interrupt flags. So it will clear all the push button 1 and push button 2. In simple terms, we can use when the button 3 is not pressed, the code increase a counter and introduce a delay, and then checks if the counter exceeds a certain value determined by the switch. If it does, it will reset the counter and clear some buttons. This flag is the button. This will help control the behavior of the program based on the timing and user input. And then this part is if the first push button is set, I becomes equal to or greater than the maximum number of phase or phase underscore no, and it will reset I to 0. And else if the second push button is set, if I become less than 0, it will wrap around to the highest phase number. This part of the code checks the interrupt flags. If the first push button is set, it increases I, cycling through the LED patterns. If the second push button is set, it decreases I, also cycling through the LED patterns but in a reverse order. This allows for cycling through LED patterns both forwards and backwards based on the button presses. And this function handles interrupt 0. And if the second push button is set, the function exits immediately without doing anything. If the third push button is pressed, it will toggle the state of the first push button. If it's currently set, it will be cleared, and vice versa. But if the third push button is not pressed, it will set the first push button to 1, indicating that interrupt 0 has occurred, and reset the counter CNT to 0. And this one will generate a sound with the speaker, and this one introduce a short delay using the delay function. So this function, and then this one is the interrupt 2. This one is if the first push button is set, the function will exit immediately without doing anything. And when the third push button is pressed, it will toggle the state of the second push button. If it's currently set, it will be cleared, and vice versa. And this one, if the third push button is not pressed, it will set the second push button into 1, indicating that interrupt 1 has occurred, and reset the counter CNT into 0. And this one is the same. This one will generate sound with the speaker, and this one will introduce the delay.
Now, before I'm going to show you how the circuit works, I'm going to tell you first how to find the V prime and V for this step motor. Because I didn't have a multimeter, so I'll just use this LED light. So from here, there's 6 wires. How do we search the V prime and V? We'll just try using this. From the first wire to the third wire, and then we spin this. This LED turns on. So this one is the V prime, and then we check the wire next to it, the second wire and the fourth wire. We connect it, and we turn this turns on too. So this is the V. If we try this one, the last wire and the fourth wire, we turn this, it didn't turn on, so this two isn't V. So this one is the V prime and this is the V. So this is the circuit. This is from this we can see this cable is V prime, V prime, A prime, VA. And then this one, the minus one, this is the ground cable, this is the power source. And then this cable is for the button. This is the P10, P11, P12, P13. And there's this transistor, PGT transistor. This bipolar junction transistor is to amplify or magnify the input voltage. So, and then there's this resistor. This resistor is to limit the current so it won't damage the circuit. And then there's this LED. It's to check whether there's current source in here or not. And then this is the initial state. We can start from here. This is from left to right. We can pause it from here. And then the second button is to reverse. You can pause it too. And then this is the binary. Yeah. And then this one, if you play it spin. And then this one is this one is for the speed. This is slower, and then this is faster. And then this one is for the reset too. So that's all. Thank you.